From Euro nerves to Euro fish, some British fishermen say they are bitterly disappointed at a new European agreement on fishing quotas, although the government claimed it was the best possible deal. The deal, finalised during the early hours of this morning in Brussels, means that boats will be allowed fewer days at sea, but fishing crews will be allowed to catch more fish. Some conservationists have criticised the deal, saying it does little to end decades of overfishing, while Scottish fishermen described it as a bitter blow.
Well, it comes down to facing this year, or facing next year rather, about 45% of the time at sea that we had 3 years ago. Now that just doesn't make commercial sense. There's a big challenge here, there's a big mountain to climb, and I'm afraid we're going to have to try and get on with that. This is a disappointment. This is not what we expected, and we didn't have our priorities met, I'm afraid.
Well, earlier I asked the Fisheries Minister, Richard Bennion, who was at those negotiations, what he would say to critics of the New Deal.
We were staring down the barrel of a gun a few days ago, and we have managed to claw back a workable solution where we're seeing increases in a good number of quotas, of stocks, of fishing opportunity, and the ending of a proposal that could have seen large elements of the fleet really pushed out of business. Are we happy? No, we're not happy until we've got a properly reformed common fisheries policy. We don't have to go through this ridiculous charade every year.
So how much worse could this have been?
Where it could have meant that elements of the fleet would have been tied up for 11 out of 12 months of next year. Other elements of the fleet would have been lucky to have fished for half of it. And, you know, businesses like that just simply don't survive. And we've been working extremely hard since those proposals were brought forward a few weeks ago to make the Commission understand the implications of their proposal and understand that our interpretation of the rules was right, and we managed to achieve that.
But no one seems to be particularly happy. The fishermen aren't happy, you're not happy, the conservationists aren't happy. So who does this deal actually benefit?
Well, I think that there are a number of fishermen who are massively relieved today. They were, as I say, looking down the barrel of a gun at the possibility of imposing either quota restrictions or days at sea restrictions, which would have put them out of business. And we managed to deal with that, so massive relief for them. No, I think that we have an absurd system for managing our fisheries. I sat up into the wee small hours of this morning talking about mesh sizes with people who work, in some cases, around 1,000 miles away from the fishermen who are actually having to use those equipment. And it is utterly ridiculous to be managing a system in such a way.
The idea of precisely that kind of discussion all night long, no one particularly happy at the end of it. I mean, this is like a bad dream that keeps on recurring, isn't it?
It is. It's been a feature of how we've done this down the years. And look, you know, there is a better way. And that has actually been proposed by the Commission and supported by Britain. And our job now is to build on the relationships we've got with other countries to make sure that the proposals being brought forward for the reform of the common fisheries policy do result in more localised management, more integrated with other activities that go on in the marine environment, that have sustainability at its heart, that is ensuring that the fishermen who are left in our industry today not only have a future for themselves, but also that their children and grandchildren and the communities that so depend on them can see a future as well.
And that was Fisheries Minister Richard Bennion.